hardest thing can be getting into position. So we're going to address that first. If you have something to place your weight on, then that's a great way to make it easier. For example, if this dumbbell is on this box here, I'm going to squat down first, get in position, and then lift it from the box so I'm ready to go in my goblet squat position here. If you've got really good squat depth, you can do the same from the floor, where you get nice and low, hands underneath, and transition from this position with your palms up into that squat position there. If you struggle to get as low as that position, then the other way to do it is using momentum and almost like a clean into position. The way to do that is get a dumbbell right in front of you. You're going to bring your hands underneath it, and as you stand up with momentum, you're going to pull it up and then catch underneath. Up it comes. Transition the hands, and then you're into that catch and ready to squat. Kettlebells are just as good for a goblet squat, and if you hold it like this with the kettlebell upside down and the handle in between the arms, it's a really comfortable position to perform a goblet squat. When it comes to the heavy weights, in order to get into this position, we're looking at more of a swing and catch. Grab the kettlebell in one hand on the floor, we're going to go for a single arm swing up, and then catch it in the other hand. Then you can let go of the handle, push it into the other hand here, and then you're ready to go. So I'll show you from the front. I'm going to swing it in, and then up, catch. I've got it supported here, now I can let go and catch there. And it's the same way to place it down. You put the weight back on one hand, grab the handle, down you go back down to the floor. So you always want to start with your feet about shoulder width apart, ready for your squat position. Obviously if you know you have a more comfortable position, whether your feet go wider or closer, that's absolutely fine. The most important thing is you get in a position where you think you can perform the best squat. So once you have that dumbbell in squat position, we're going to keep it close to the chest. We're going to make sure the wrists are as stacked as possible over the elbows. Now what I mean by that is the wrist here is stacked over this elbow, so it's in a nice strong supported position, and I'm not wasting a lot of upper body and arm energy in order to hold it in position. It's never going to be stacked completely under unless you've got a really small weight, and even then that's not necessary. Here is absolutely fine, it's really supported, especially if you lean the weight slightly across the chest as well. But as you can see, my elbows are quite close to the bottom of the dumbbell, whereas if I flare them out here, I'm going to waste a lot of energy holding my arms out where I really don't need to, whilst my wrists are doing a lot of the work. Instead of getting locked underneath, I'm feeling in a nice strong position. Because we've got this big heavy weight in front of us when performing goblet squat, the core is really tested because that weight is going to pull us forward if we're not careful. So it's really important when you're in position to brace that core, keep the chest up and keep looking forward in order to maintain that position. Although the heavy weight provides a challenge, it also can help us get lower in our squat because we've got that counterbalance weight, can sit into our heels a bit more when it comes to the squat, allowing us to get in a deeper position, which is a great way to build up your squat depth and strength in the lower positions. So here, as you can see, I'm holding it close to the chest, so I'm going to keep the chest up, looking forward, sit back into my heels and down into that squat, and then back up I go. What we want to avoid is squatting down into this position where we're getting pulled forward. There's a lot of weight on the back because that weight's pulling me forward and I've lost my strong squat position. Instead, keep that chest up and stay upright into that squat as you sit down into those heels. If you do have a narrow squat position, you may find the goblet squat awkward because I've told you to keep nice and close and tucked in to the extent where the knees get in the way of the elbows. In this case, you may want to adjust either the elbows slightly or the legs slightly so that doesn't happen, which can be done either way, like so. But the main thing is you're never going to go as low as the weight you're holding, so once you hit your weight to the legs, that's your stopping point anyway. So you want to create a bit of a gap, at least for the weight itself, if not the elbows as well, so you can hit a good depth.